Safety is a key ingredient when it comes to the business of aviation and airport operations worldwide. This is due primarily because it is the first consideration on the mind of any passenger making a decision to board a flight.
The end result is that passengers must be protected. Security and safety must be prioritized. Otherwise, all we are doing will be far different than what is done in aviation. I'm sure most of you have traveled and you know that there is a guiding principle for all aviation. It's a global community, if you like. And so what is obtainable in Nigeria is obtainable in South Africa, in US, in UK. Hence, there are bars, there are marks, and there are yardsticks.
The Nigerian Airspace is very safe and ranked among one of the best in Africa, ranked among one of the best in the world. From the progress we've made in the last 24 months and even beyond, Nigerian Airspace is very safe.
Over the years, the safety of the Nigerian airspace has been a source of concern to the flying public, as inadequate navigational infrastructure did not help the situation.
What we inherited 2 years ago was an airport system that was comatose. I call it buried. Everything. Let's just take Murtala Mohammed, the gateway to this country, for example. The generators that are alternate power in that airport came with the airport in 1979. The lifts and the escalators and all those things came with the airport in 1979. The air conditioning came with the airport in 1979. The baggage belts came with the airport in 1979. How can you have a gateway to a country left in such a state more than 30 years later?
For the past 30 years or more, the kind of transformation we have seen in this industry, which I believe Nigerian passengers, flying public will attest to it, has not been done. The navigational aids, communication, the idea of the total radar coverage, we used to have a maximum of 60 nautical miles coverage. Today, we have in 9 different locations, 260 or thereabout nautical miles coverage, covering the whole nation.
For the past 20 to 35 years, what used to be called airports in Nigeria are, ordinarily speaking, things that can be considered a habitat for lower animals. Today, the Ministry of Aviation, through its agency, FAM, has convinced us that the transformation agenda of Goodluck Jonathan is working. I want to commend the Minister of Aviation and her team for a work well done. And I want to say that if other sectors of our economy, they are working the way Minister of Aviation is working, we would have gotten to the promised land.
The importance of safety and its infrastructure in the aviation sector cannot be overstated, which is why the administration of President Jonathan is not leaving anything to chance as it concerns air traffic in Nigerian skies.
The administration of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, GCFR, in terms of the aviation sector, he has done tremendously well. Before the coming of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, the aviation sector was nothing to write home about. But since he came on board, I can see that there's great improvement in the aviation industry.
Deliberate efforts by the administration and aviation authorities have brought a new regime of safety protocol in Nigerian airports. The improvement in the aviation sector has continued to make the global community smaller, as well as eliminating natural barriers.
Many of our airports have been completely revamped and turned into new airports worthy in name and substance. 2 months ago, a brand new general aviation terminal was commissioned at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Just before then, a re-engineered Lagos Airport was commissioned, and just a few weeks ago, a new Benin Airport was commissioned. In my capacity as the chairman of Senate Committee of Aviation, second as a Nigerian citizen who is impressed by the rapid transformation of our airports under the transformation agenda of this administration. I must remind you that this brand new airport is only part of the unfolding story of the tenacious determination of this administration to transform our airports into world-class airports through the Ministry of Aviation.
Many people have asked me how come the central bank seems to be always constantly supporting aviation. The reason is that the central bank supports public officers that are doing something. The advantage with doing something is that people can like you or not like you, they may agree with you or not agree with you. They cannot take away from you what you have achieved. There is no one that will go to Kano Airport or Kaduna Airport or Enugu Airport or Port Harcourt Airport or Lagos Airport and claim that things are not happening.
The contribution of aviation to global prosperity and socio-political growth is unquestionable. Hence, universally outlined standards are entrenched for industry operators no matter which continent they operate. Governments play an important role in assuring the safety of air travel. In Nigeria, for instance, different agencies of government ensure appropriate regulations are observed in order for the sector to compete globally.
Anything that has to do with aviation activity falls under the purview of NCA regulation. We are by the Act authorized to do that in Nigeria here, and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority is recognized by several other international organizations such as ICAO, FAA, and name them, all of them is recognized.
Before now, the only airport which I feel could be beat compared to international standard was MM2. But now if you go around the entire country, you can see airports that can be compared to other airports in the world. The aviation sector under President Stella Odoya is doing greatly well.
To complement the safety stopgaps already in place at the country's airports, the application of the Aviation Intervention Fund is being redefined to enable airline operators deliver excellent service.
Now, Mr. President again has graciously approved that. We're waiting for Central Bank to provide the fund for that to work. So in a nutshell, what that will mean is government will intervene by providing facility that is single digits. It's a 20 years lifespan, and that will allow the airlines to improve on what they currently have. They will expand the fleet they currently have. They will refleet the one they are using. The essence of that is to ensure that Nigerians have access to very good and safe aircraft that they should use.
One other measure to boost safety and passenger comfort is the ongoing efforts to resuscitate the country's national carrier.
What we did promise is that national carrier will be a private sector driven carrier, and we've gone very far. We've identified the sources, the venture partners. As soon as we get a final approval, then we'll roll it out. We want to roll something that will be sustainable, something that Nigerians will be proud to say that this is our national carrier.
Well, we need a national carrier to be on board so as to compete with other airlines. For an example, the fares that airline charges to me is quite much. If we have a national carrier, this idea of paying so much will also reduce.
The giant strides being recorded in the aviation industry in Nigeria at the moment has at various times attracted the commendation of the legislature.
The story of the rapid and incredible transformation of our airports is the same everywhere, from Port Harcourt to Enugu, to Benin, to Lagos, to Calabar, to Abuja, to Owerri, to Maiduguri, and to Kano. All the airports are wearing new imposing looks to the credit of Ministry of Aviation. Critics who claimed that the transformation agenda is not working may need to do an urgent tour of our airports just to bury their faces in shame. I suspect that any traveler who visited Nigeria 2 years ago through these airports and is making a return visit to the country this year will not believe he is in the same country. The truth is, the rustic, ramshackle, wobbling structures that served as our airports in the past are giving way to solid, imposing, and truly befitting structures that can pass for airports in the developed countries of the world. And it is all to the glory of God and the credit of the Minister of Aviation.
This is the dream of any minister to achieve, and this is what is obtained outside the world. This is what we see when we travel out, and I'm happy to be part of this development because, of course, if we sleep on our oversight, it won't be completed today. And I stand here to say this is not first time monies are appropriated to ministries, departments and agencies, and they return money back. But this is one minister, one ministry that's doing everything possible to make sure that what we appropriate to them, that they use it efficiently. And all of us have come here today and we have seen it and we're happy.
The cordial relationship between the executive and legislature is evident in a way that the legislature is using its appropriation powers to ensure new aircraft are acquired by the aviation authorities.
You've not seen anything yet. Aviation sector is one of the very few sectors that has been boosted lately under the Jonathan administration, and is one of the few ministries today we can say without fear of any contradiction that is performing very well. It is our hope that there will be a sustenance program, that the efforts and the achievements we've made so far will be sustained. It is also our hope that government will continue to encourage the Ministry of Aviation in their determination to make the sector formidable and compliant to expectations of the outside world.
The policy thrust of President Goodluck Jonathan's administration is anchored on the transformation of all sectors of the Nigerian economy and governance processes. Watch the Transformation Agenda, a new and insightful television series on the issues, policies, the President has done his work, and actions of the federal government.
Our aerotropolis is very elaborate, has huge business potentials and opportunities and enablers.
Now you can keep tabs with the President's promise because you have the right to know.
We want to lead a country where people will be less greedy, where people will know that the commonwealth of Nigeria belongs to all Nigerians, where people will no longer live as prisoners. This country must be transformed.
The Transformation Agenda, showing on Channels Television Wednesdays 4:30 p.m. The Transformation Agenda, keeping the record straight and promoting accountability. The Transformation Agenda is brought to you by Neighbor to Neighbor.
We should be proud of what we have. When we are proud of what we have, we maintain it. And when we maintain it, it will be good for many generations to come.
Judging for the past, these 3 new months, the airport is taking a new look and it's decent, it's clean, we have very well maintained facilities, the air conditioners are working, and there is sanity in the airport. If this system can be continued, I believe Nigeria is destined for greater heights, especially in the aviation sector.
When you see this kind of transformation now, doesn't it look good? Don't you like it? You see, that's why I always commend the effort of women in this country. When they are given a little opportunity, they make a whole nation proud. Can you recall how many presidents may have gone through this place? How many ministers, aviation ministers that may have gone through all our airports and they didn't do anything? It took a lady of substance and a lady of class and vision to put this together. Don't you like it? There are few airports in the world that can compete with every of our airports in this country.
In a bid to further entrench the culture of safety, a technical and administrative review panel was constituted by the Jonathan administration. The panel's recommendations gave birth to a new Nigerian Civil Aviation Policy, NCAP 2013, to replace the 2001 NCAP, and efforts are on to amend certain aspects of the 2006 Civil Aviation Act, which are not in tune with the current growth being experienced in the industry. Through the new policy, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, is expected to pay attention to control and monitoring of all scheduled and non-scheduled flights operations in Nigeria.
The agency is in charge of safety, and you know that safety is not a destination. I mean, it's an ongoing, shall I say, you can't say, oh, I have achieved safety, because there's always something to do.
Our aircrafts in Nigeria are under the direct supervision of Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, where the engineers oversight the functions of the airline, because the responsibility to maintain the aircraft is domiciled in that airline, and under the shared responsibility of airworthiness of an aircraft, NCAA provides an oversight, provides guidance to airworthiness directive compliance. Because if an aircraft is produced, 5 years' time, there is an airworthiness directive for you to do something. Someone has to supervise you and make sure you are compliant.
The policy also contains regulations that border on aviation training organizations. The aim is to provide high-quality personnel for the sector and permanently address the issue of competence.
As I speak to you, NAMA has, as I speak, 96 graduates undergoing training at the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology. The professionals in aeronautical information services. 2012 and 2013, we trained nothing less than 30 air traffic controllers in the United States for area radar control. We've also done an advanced aeronautical geodetical survey course in Egypt.
Various projects geared towards making the travel experience in Nigeria memorable are being co-opted into the ongoing transformation of federal airports, as aviation authorities are embracing cutting-edge technologies.
4 years ago, in this country and before that, there were no fire engines in any airport, including Murtala Mohammed. The ones you would have in like Murtala Mohammed, if you started them and you drove at 80 kilometers per hour, after a minute it will break down. We've refitted with fire engines across brand new fire engines across the 22 airports of the network. We have kitted the firemen and women the way that they're supposed to be kitted elsewhere in the world. In the security environment, we are just replacing, we just finished in Murtala Mohammed, we're going to all 22 airports. Brand new, sophisticated, cutting-edge technology, 3-in-1 liquids, metals, and explosive detectors.
Globally, weather conditions account for some of the accidents in the aviation industry. At the moment, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, is ISO certified and has continued to give accurate predictions. Hence, the effect of hazardous weather condition in the sector has been reduced to the barest minimum.
Our weather forecasts have become internationally acclaimed as world-class, as indicated by the ISO 9001 that we recently attained. We will continue to make efforts to improve, just like every other person. But what I want to say is that to a large extent, we have made tremendous progress, and thanks to the aviation master plan of Princess Taylor Odua, thanks to Mr. President's transformation agenda that has empowered us.
I'm excited to say, I've been in aviation for over a decade, that the equipment we have now, barely 4 other countries have it. For Nigeria to be certified in the International Meteorological Organization and have an ISO number, ISO 9001, it's not a mean feat. We have the low-level wind alert system, we have the Doppler radar that gives you accuracy.
Several facilities that include calibration laboratories to keep instruments up to date are constantly upgraded.
We have a lab where these equipments can be calibrated. You don't need to fly them anywhere. You don't need to go anywhere. We have enough to check the actual temperature, to check the clouds, to check the pressure, all these key critical ingredients for you to have the QNH and all that you need to fly. And so with both terminal aerodrome reports, you have the ones that can give us accuracy in terms of species, to give us forecasts and trends. So weather-wise, we are very good.
The administration of safety at Nigerian airports has been enhanced by the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency.
Aviation Roundtable took a tour to the airport the other day and actually and obviously apologized to NAMA that they should be championing the job, the work that has been done. Because all this while they will say, oh, there's no radar, oh, there's no radar. Because the people that were there, all they had in their mind was what we call a terminal approach radar with 60 nautical miles range. Today, we have an area radar installed in 9 sites in Nigeria of 250 nautical miles each overlapping. We see Togo, we see aircraft land and take off in Ghana. Because even our oceanic airspace is being covered by our radar. That's why we're talking also about multilateration. So that we provide aircraft flying from the coast to a place like Cameroon. Because we see Yaoundé, we see Douala. We see north of Meduguri, up to up to east of Bangui in Central African Republic. These are technologies that are available.
The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency has demonstrated its commitment to implementing, developing and improving strategies as well as management systems and processes to ensure that all air traffic management activities conform to the highest level of safety performance.
And so when people talk about safety, the aspect of environment, you're talking about air navigation equipment, you're talking about air navigation provision in terms of air traffic controller. Are they doing what they're supposed to do? Do we have enough navigational equipment? Do we have weather monitoring equipment and all that? And I'm so excited to say on the aspect of air safety, provision of facility and infrastructure, Nigeria is amongst one of the first in Africa.
The Accident Investigation and Prevention Bureau has not been left out in the ongoing efforts by the Jonathan administration to reposition the country's aviation industry.
Since the coming of this administration, a lot of work has gone into manpower development as regards safety. In my organization, the Accident Investigation Bureau, we did not have a flight safety laboratory with the capability of downloading flight recorders, which are popularly known as black boxes. I'm happy to say today that we have that capability, and we are the only one that's serving that capability around this sub-region.
Before now, you hear that the black boxes are taken to Europe. We have the first investigation lab in Africa, in Nigeria, in Abuja here. So government is doing all that it needs to do, or she needs to do. Yet again, the aspect of compliance will keep at it, because the operator must play by the rules.
The strengthening of the AIPB, which is articulated in the Aviation Sector Master Plan, is geared towards creating a safe, secure, efficient and sustainable air transport industry in Nigeria, in line with ICAO standards and recommended practices.
We have a flight safety laboratory, and the capability is to download, analyze what people call black boxes, but what we call flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder. Currently, the accident that just happened, we are currently working on it, and we have made substantial progress along the line of downloading, analyzing, and I believe we will enjoy that benefit. It's one of the benefits of the transformation, and you will see that the report will be out very soon.
With strict regulations and enforcement in place, acquisition of the right equipment and a well-trained workforce, the aviation industry in Nigeria is now on competitive edge.
If each and every one of us who has been given a certain responsibility for one small part of Nigeria decides that he's going to approach, or he or she will approach that responsibility with the level of commitment and diligence that we have seen, say in the aviation sector, this country would have moved far, far beyond where it is today.
For once, let's be able to hold our heads up proudly in the international community and say we are part of a globe that does things in a particular way. We cannot continue to separate ourselves negatively throughout our lives. And that's why they are angry. And we say to them, you know, you can jump into the Atlantic Ocean and swim to Antarctica. Nigeria's industry is going to be corrected. And that's what we're doing. And the legacy we will leave, let everybody judge at the end of it. We will go, but we will leave this industry to our successors in a completely turned around state from what we met it. That these people are all howling and howling and howling about. They can howl as much as they want. This industry will be corrected.
Nigerians are brilliant people. If they believe that the project and the vision is going to be useful and will serve the purpose of transformation, they will key in. And in aviation really is not an option. And so, do you have an option not to key into the vision? No, unfortunately, that liberty does not exist. So you have only one choice, and the choice is to ensure that you follow the vision of Mr. President, and that is transformation.